Ukrainian President Zelenskyy just said Donald Trump checkmate. So after Ukraine and its European allies exposed the Trump regime for laundering that Russian 28-point plan for surrender and trying to force it on Ukraine, and Ukraine said absolutely not, respect our sovereignty, reject it. If you want peace, let's start with a ceasefire and let's do a real peace, not this Russian BS. So what Zelenskyy did is he said, well, Witkoff and Rubio and Kushner, if you're meeting with the Russian proxies in Miami to launder surrender plans against us, you know what we're going to do? We're going to send the Ukrainian delegation where? To Miami, and let's do the meeting in the same spot where you tried to sell us out. We're sending the Ukrainian delegation there. So Zelenskyy sends his Ukrainian delegation to Miami to meet with Witkoff, Donald Trump's envoy to Russia, the main guy trying to sell out Zelenskyy. You had Kushner and you had Rubio there. Now, just take a look right here at Witkoff's face at this meeting in Miami that took place over this weekend. He looked like a defeated man who had been caught and exposed. Just take a look at him there. His head was down the entire time. He was fidgeting with his tie. Take a look at Marco Rubio, as he knew that he could even look at the Ukrainian delegation at first because he knew that they caught the Americans betraying them. Take a look at Kushner, who's probably just thinking, now how can I make money off this? How do I get even richer off of this? Take a look at this scene right here. You see the Ukrainian delegation sitting across from Witkoff and Rubio and Kushner right there. You see the Ukrainian delegation strong, powerful, supremely confident. You see how sheepish and weak Trump's stooges are sitting there. Now, let me just show you right here, but I like how John Jackson discusses this. He goes, I've dealt with a lot of bad, guilty people in my life. Witkoff looks like a guy who got exposed in front of the whole world. I love this for him. I bet he looks great in orange, and there's certainly more recordings out there. Enjoy. Watch what happens during this meeting in Miami on Sunday between the Ukrainian delegation and Trump's stooges who were there. Here, play this clip.
But the progress throughout the week, as we've been communicating, the end goal is obviously not just the end of the war. Obviously, that's essential and fundamental. We want to see the end of the killing and the death and the suffering, and I'm sure the Ukrainian side, I know they do as well. They want peace, but it's also about securing an end to the war that leaves Ukraine sovereign and independent and with an opportunity at real prosperity. So this is not just about ending a war. This is about ending a war in a way that creates a mechanism and a way forward that will allow them to be independent and sovereign, never have another war again, and create tremendous prosperity for its people. Not just rebuild the country, but to enter an era of extraordinary economic progress. It's a country with, Ukraine has tremendous economic potential. Ukraine has tremendous opportunity for true prosperity. Obviously, you can't do that in the middle of a war like this, but ending the war alone won't achieve that. So this is not just about peace deals. It's about creating a pathway forward that leaves Ukraine sovereign, independent, and prosperous. And so we expect to make even more progress today. And we're grateful that you would travel all the way here to Florida. We apologize for the rain. It's not supposed to be raining, but there's only certain things we can control. So thank you.
And I think a point that John Jackson says that isn't getting enough attention, whichever intelligence service, whether it was Ukrainian or European, that got those phone calls, that did that wiretap between Witkoff and the Russian proxies, whether it was with Dmitriev and the other Russian proxy, there's a lot more where those tapes come from right there. And you know that the intelligence services are sitting on a lot of dirt on Witkoff right now. And I think Witkoff is probably wondering, what else do they have on me? What other phone calls? What other emails? What other messages? They have it all, Witkoff. They have it all. Now, following the meeting that I just showed you right there, Zelenskyy put out the following message. The Ukrainian delegation should already be in the United States by this evening, U.S. time. The dialogue based on the Geneva points will continue. Diplomacy remains active. The American side is demonstrating a constructive approach. And in the coming days, days, it is feasible to flesh out the steps to determine how to bring the war to a dignified end. The Ukrainian delegation has the necessary directives, and I expect the guys to work in accordance with clear Ukrainian priorities. Then, after the meeting took place, Zelenskyy posted the following: Russia is eager for Ukraine to make mistakes. We won't make any. Our work goes on. Our struggle goes on. We have no right to fall short, no right to retreat or turn on one another. If we lose our unity, we risk losing everything, ourselves, Ukraine, and our future. We must stand together. We must hold our ground. There is no other choice. There will never be another Ukraine. We defend Ukraine. Glory to Ukraine. Now, right before that meeting in Miami between the Ukrainian delegation and Witkoff, Rubio, and Kushner, the Wall Street Journal was out with another report called Make Money, Not War: Trump's Real Plan for Peace in Ukraine, or Betrayal of Ukraine. The Kremlin pitched the White House on peace through business. In other words, sell out NATO, sell out Ukraine, and Donald, maybe Russia will make you and your family richer. To Europe's dismay, the president and his envoy were on board. Let me just share with you how this article starts right here. For the Kremlin, the Miami talks between the Russians and Witkoff and Kushner were the culmination of a strategy hatched before Trump's inauguration to bypass the traditional U.S. national security apparatus and convince the administration to view Russia not as a military threat, but as a land of bountiful opportunity, according to Western security officials. By dangling multi-billion-dollar rare earth and energy deals, Moscow could reshape the economic map of Europe while driving a wedge between America and its traditional allies. So Putin promised, we've got trillions of dollars for you, Donald, and we'll make you even richer. And then Putin said, and why don't we help with some propaganda initiatives? We can go to the moon together, Donald. We can build on the moon together. Wouldn't you like that? Now, so after the meeting, or right around when that meeting's taking place in Miami between the Ukrainian delegation and Trump's stooges, you have Zelenskyy put out the following message as well. I spoke with Mark Rutte, Secretary General of NATO. We'll continue our conversations in the coming days. These are important days and much can change. We are coordinating closely, and in our efforts and in the efforts of all of our partners, it is our joint measures and shared positions that will be extremely effective. Mark, thank you for your support. In other words, you have a multi-prong effort right here where Zelenskyy sends his delegation to go to Miami. It's symbolic as well. That's where you tried to betray us, Donald. Okay, we're going to assert our moral and formal and international authority. Where? In Miami. Witkoff, show up, man up, look at us eye to eye. And Witkoff is like, I'm not sure what to do. Rubio, look us in the eye. Kushner, whatever the hell you're going to do, you were selling us out as well. Then the phone call to the Secretary General of NATO, informing NATO what Ukraine just did with the United States.
How much time, money, and energy have you spent on health, wellness, and beauty products to look and feel younger and healthier? If you're like me, probably too much. Now, I'm so excited to share with you guys C15 from Fatty 15, the first emerging essential fatty acid to be discovered in more than 90 years. Now, it's an incredible scientific breakthrough to support our long-term health and wellness, and you guessed it, healthy aging. Fatty 15 co-founder Dr. Stephanie Van Watson, she discovered the benefits of C15 while working with the U.S. Navy to continually improve the health and welfare of aging dolphins. Now, based on over 100 studies, we now know that C15 strengthens our cells and is a key to healthy aging nutrient, which helps to slow biological aging at the cellular level. Now, in fact, when our cells don't have enough C15, they become fragile and age faster. And when our cells age, our bodies age too. So Fatty 15 is a science-backed, award-winning, patented 100% pure C15 supplement. It's vegan-friendly, free of flavors, allergens, or preservatives. Fatty 15 has 3 times more cellular benefits than omega-3s or fish oil. I love Fatty 15. I've personally seen the benefits. Definitely check this stuff out. Best of all, Fatty 15 comes in a gorgeous reusable glass bamboo jar, and refills are shipped right to your door. Now, Fatty 15 is on a mission to optimize your C15 levels to help support your long-term health and wellness, now especially as you age. You can get an additional 15% off their 90-day subscription starter kit by going to fatty15.com/Meidas and using code Meidas at checkout.
So then after that meeting took place, notice that Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, takes a very different tune. Because one of the things that Ukraine's been doing great is also, there's already a wedge, by the way, between Rubio and Witkoff. Witkoff did this 28-point Russian plan behind the back of Rubio. Not to suggest that Rubio isn't complicit, but that was behind the back of Rubio. So Witkoff and Kushner did that with the Russians in Miami. Rubio found out about it later. Rubio tried to fix what Witkoff did, basically, after destroying, any shred of whatever America may have left with its allies, which is basically nothing. So then Rubio goes out, and now Rubio talks about this meeting. Now watch how Rubio changes the tune on Ukraine. Play this clip.
Sir, are we? Yeah. All right, and I apologize because I'm pressed for time. I think we both are, but I just wanted to update you. We had another very productive session building off Geneva, building off the events of this week. As I told you earlier this morning, our goal here is to end the war, but it's more than just to end the war. We don't just want to end the war. We also want to help Ukraine be safe forever, so never again will they face another invasion. And equally importantly, we want them to enter an age of true prosperity. We want the Ukrainian people to emerge from this war, not just to rebuild their country, but to build it back in a way that will be stronger and more prosperous than it's ever been. And so this is comprehensive, what we're working on here today. It's not just about the terms that ends fighting. It's about also the terms that set up Ukraine for long-term prosperity. I thought we started laying the groundwork for that, most certainly in Geneva. I think we continued that work in our communications throughout the week. I think we built on that again today, but there's more work to be done. This is delicate, it's complicated, there are a lot of moving parts, and obviously there's another party involved here that'll have to be a part of the equation, and that'll continue later this week when Mr. Witkoff travels to Moscow, although we've also been in touch in varying degrees with the Russian side, but we have a pretty good understanding of their views as well. So much work remains, but today was again a very productive and useful session.
And then what we saw on the weekend shows is that some of the Republican leaders in the House and in the Senate, but also in the House and the Senate, like Republican Congressmember Mike Turner, Republican Congressmember Don Bacon, they were on the weekend shows, and they were basically speaking out against Witkoff, speaking out against the Trump regime's policies against or policies relating to Ukraine. So here is a Republican Congressmember Don Bacon. Here's what he had to say. Play this clip.
And we heard this week from Vladimir Putin saying that it would be pointless. That was his word. At least that was the translation of his word. It would be pointless to make a peace agreement with Ukraine because Zelensky's government lacks legitimacy. I mean, where could this go?
We need moral clarity dealing with Putin. He does not want a peace agreement with Ukraine that leaves Ukraine a sovereign country that can be allied with the West, that can be part of the EU and free markets. He wants to control another third of Ukraine. He would like to make Ukraine a vassal state. So I don't know why the administration keeps pursuing the pointless here. But yet we see in the Wall Street Journal that there's evidence it's all about trying to make agreements on rare earth minerals and natural gas pipelines and things like that, of which Ukraine has no part of in this. And so Putin does not want peace. The president should see it. And therefore, we should be focused on giving high-end weapons, accurate weapons to Ukraine, long-range accurate weapons, and also air defenses that help protect their cities that are being bombed every single night. We need a little more Ronald Reagan here, as you mentioned his name. When he called the Soviet Union an evil empire, this president also needs to see the evil intentions of Putin, but he needs to call it out and see it for what he is.
And here is what Republican Congressmember Mike Turner had to say about whether Witkoff should continue to serve as a U.S. negotiator in Ukraine. Let's play this clip right here.
But, one thing that I think everybody understands is that you can't be America first and pro-Russia. Because Russia is a self-declared adversary of the United States. It's fielding new advanced nuclear weapons that are specifically targeting the United States. It's constantly attacking the United States with offensive cyber. It continuously identifies both NATO and the West, the United States, as its adversary. So in this, and of course, when it identifies Ukraine as its adversary, it does so in identifying the West and the United States as its adversary. You have to understand that the balance of this peace arrangement has to be one where you have to look at Russia as a skeptical adversary.
And while all of this is taking place, what I don't want to ever forget is the terrorism being committed by the Russians on a daily basis against innocent Ukrainians. I don't want to forget the torture and the killing of innocent civilians that Russia is engaged in every damn day in Ukraine. This isn't a both sides issue, okay? We need to stand behind Ukraine and recognize that Russia is the bad guy. This should be very simple. As you heard some of those Congress members even say, Russia is a sworn enemy of the United States. So wake the hell up, Trump regime, because you're selling out the United States to an enemy of the United States in Putin. But I want you to watch this before we go. This is a family in Kyiv sharing the same sounding videos. Every damn night they share a video like this because civilians are being targeted while Russia conducts its human safari hunting of civilians with drones and ballistic missiles in this and other parts of the country. Also hat tip to Olga Nestorova, who does a very good job aggregating these clips and covering all things Ukraine. Here, play this clip. There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers. Zelenskyy stands strong.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.